G'day, Inside Ball is back. Kevie, I hope you had a great Easter. How was your Easter, Kevin?
Oh, fantastic. Well, I worked Friday.
Saturday.
Look,
it's Friday, Saturday.
I'm going to rephrase that. It's not work. What I do is not really work. I love doing what I do, right? So it's not work. But I was in Sydney for Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday. Your
Thursday,
wife picked you up from the airport. I had a good chat to you on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, and then had the family over yesterday.
Yeah.
Nice roast beef. Yeah, it was beautiful.
We'll get to your kids'
beef
cooking.
and lamb. Beautiful.
Kev's cooking tips are coming back. Happy Easter, everybody. We move on. Round 7 done and dusted. We'll go through the results. We're really going to drill down on some of these games. So we knew it. Thursday night, obviously, Dragons, too good for Manly, 20 points to 18. Then Friday, Bulldogs, undefeated, 32-0 against the Rabbitohs. The Dolphins, 42 points to
Huge
22. Win. Then the Broncos on Saturday, they got rolled 20 points to 18. We're going to unpack that. Panthers are back. They beat the Roosters 40 points to 12. Raiders are one of the front runners. They were too good for the Titans.
You got the Raiders in your top 4?
I got them in my top 2.
Top 2?
Top 2. Watch this space. Wow. And then on Monday, yesterday, Mitchell Moses back, 38 points to 22. Quickly, just on Manly, I just want to know.
There's something going on there, Dobbo, bubbling behind the scenes.
20 points to 18, St George win. Garrick had a kick to tie the game up, missed it. So I'm not going to throw the complete water out. They had no Tommy Turbo. Now, if you're going down this DCE route again, come on.
Well, I'm not going down that path, but since the big announcement came out that he's leaving, right? That's a huge disruption to any team. They beat, was it someone they beat that day?
They beat Parramatta. And then they've been towed up since. Yeah, 3 in a row.
Every game since. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be. Does it make that big a difference, though? I haven't been in clubland. I've never worked in a football side. I haven't coached and played. Do you think it makes that big a difference when that hahappens, that kind of drama happens?
It can be disruptive depending on how it's handled. And we all know that was handled pretty poorly by both the club and the management of DCE, right? Yeah, should have been kept in-house. I think it's disruptive. It's been disruptive. No one's fault, really, but just the way it all has panned out. And now we get to the Tigers in a minute too with Lachlan Galvin. Same situation.
Yeah.
And they paid a price for it yesterday, the Tigers.
Big time.
If Galvin plays, we don't know who's going to win, but more of a chance to winning.
Yeah, I agree with that. Adam Dewey was not the answer there. Anyway, look, Canterbury are undefeated. They play Brisbane on Thursday night, 32-0 over the Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs have got a lot of injuries. I'm not getting carried away. I'm just going to leave them where it is. I want to focus on 2 games over the weekend.
Right.
I want to talk about a game at 16-2, Melbourne Storm over the Dolphins. 20 minutes in. Pappenhausen goes down the short side. It's 16-2.
Yep.
I looked at Shane Webke. I looked at Todd Carney, who I'm calling with. I said, this could be anything, boys.
Yeah.
This could be. And then, snap.
Yeah.
42-22. Dolphins break a Friday night hoodoo. They have never won on a Friday night. They have never beaten the Melbourne Storm. And, mate, they destroyed them.
Particularly at Suncorp, where the Storm have such a good record. It's nearly as good as Amy Park. It's virtually their second home ground.
Yeah.
It's their home away from home, really. And for the Storm to capitulate the way they did was, well, let's give the Dolphins some credit. How good were they? Katoa, 5 try assists. He had the ball on a string with his kicking game. Nicarima, the flick pass.
Yeah, to Ray
Stone, the 2 try. What about when he scores a try? I love it when he scores a try.
Well, he doesn't do anything.
It's
you know what? Josh Kerr was interviewed after the game and he said, mate, I'm sure there's 3 people held up in bodies, held in cages down below. He calls him an axe murderer. He is an angry man. But Harry Grant out of the Melbourne Storm side. I never thought it'd be. There's something clearly not right with Munster. He was injured, and Jerome Hughes obviously has got that shoulder injury, which is playing.
Let's not make excuses for the Storm. Those blokes are out there playing. Let's give the Dolphins some credit for the fight back. They were on the canvas, as you said, but they found a way to come back. And the try from Kerr, I thought, Josh Kerr,
sparked it.
that was a turning point.
Yeah, I agree.
And he snuck through there. I don't know how a 6'3" person sneaks through a defence, but he did. He just seemed to. lumber over the line and get the ball down. They thought he was going to offload. They thought he was going to pass, but he didn't. He hung on to it, and I think he's been a key player for them, Dobbo. Josh Kerr.
Very, very good. Bench player, off contract, wants to stay there. Had a really big conversation about it afterwards that he wants to stay there.
Yeah,
I know
his form suggests that, mate.
And his management are having discussions with him. I'm close to his manager. He's going all right. He wants to stay at the Dolphins. Can I ask you this? Should we be worried about Melbourne? Because everybody says they're still the premiership heavyweight, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But St George beat them. They had a poor half. They've been beating up on teams in attack.
Yeah.
Then they've had 40 points put on them. Now, I've never seen a Melbourne Storm side have 40 points put on them like that, ever.
Not straight points like that and tries. They're leaking points. That's the Storm's biggest headache.
Defense.
They can score points. And, I think Craig is focused on that too after the game. He mentioned that, we've been winning our games through our attack rather than you win games. The good teams win games. The good teams, like the Bulldogs, win games through their defence. All right, so defence is the key. We all know the Storm can score points. Well, they're probably they were, leading into the round, the highest scoring team from a points perspective. But, their defence needs work. And who's going to fix their defence? Craig Bellamy will fix their defence. He was in a pretty jovial mood after the game for something that had happened.
He dropped an F-bomb to start off with.
Yeah, but it wasn't an angry F-bomb. It was a little slip. So I've heard worse, trust me. But, they've got their injury problems as well. No Harry Grant, no Nelson.
Jack Howarth's out now for a while, extended period of time.
Meaney's gone. Will Warbrick's out.
Still out.
Not sure what's wrong with him or when he's going to return. So, I keep saying you need your best players You can get away with a week or two without them, but when you continually don't have your best 17 on the field, it's very hard. It just evens up because of the spread of players. Your depth isn't as great anymore. Penrith's depth isn't as great. The Storm's depth looks good, but they're 4 and 5 deep into injuries.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. They take on the Rabbitohs this weekend, Anzac Round.
Well, what was it, 38-0 the Rabbitohs?
Yeah, they got beaten by the Dogs, but they've got some injuries. They'll get Walker back. They'll get Walker back. They're getting some people back. They're going to be all right. I think South Sydney are going to be all right. I wouldn't.
I worry about their forwards, Dobbo. Their middle forwards and how
you don't think they've got enough there?
Well, they've got enough, but they all need to be there.
Yeah, that's valid. Let's talk the Bronx. Saturday night, Eden Park. Not Eden Park,
Billy Walters. What about the try to kick things off?
Mate, I text you and no reply. What was that about?
I was driving, mate, on my way to Allianz Stadium.
Yeah, well, I text you. Billy scored. I've texted me, mate. I get bagels from out. And
my phone was pinging.
Was it?
When I was driving, yes. 4 or 5 people text, I thought, something's happened here.
Yeah. Well, because you weren't watching the game or listening to it.
Well, I was listening to the radio, but then it just cut out before the game started. So I'm thinking, and when you're driving in Sydney, and I'm getting a bit older now, so I've got to sort of focus on the road, And so I didn't know until I pulled the car up.
The phone's pinging that Billy Walters has scored a try. Anyway, thanks for the reply. Now, look, I'm going to say this now. Brisbane should never have even got the golden point. Without Adam Reynolds, they're stuffed. Mate, Metcalf had 1 from 5. Yeah. Right?
They were outmuscled.
They were completely outmuscled. And that's the worrying part for them. They are the physicality for 80 minutes. I'm not saying they can't be physical, but the 80 minutes, Kev, what are you seeing? And I understand this is a hard conversation to have, but what are you seeing with the Bronx at the moment, because they got it wrong again on Saturday night?
Yeah, well, it's hard for me to put my finger on it, and I don't. It's hard to Reece Walsh being injured. I mean, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. That's not helping.
Can we just say how tough he was? That happened in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, it was Kurt Capewell, wasn't it?
Capewell's knee.
Yeah,
he played the whole game. Yeah. Didn't come off.
Should he have played the whole game?
Well, to be fair,
because he was hobbling around, mate, like that. Reece Walsh is a great player. We love what he does.
But to be fair,
we love his toughness. But why was he still out there? Running around on one leg, mate?
Well, he did put Cobbo away. If that pass got brought back for him, Chris Butler called that a forward pass. Plenty have been let go that haven't been. That was a marginal, and I mean that changed it. So they had some opportunities. So are you saying Walsh should have come off?
I'm not saying he should have come off. I'm just saying he's had a different start to the year for the Broncos.
Yeah,
and that's
very
just
much so.
Right? and his stats are still reading okay with his try assists and the tries he scored. So he's still, even though everyone's been quite critical of him, his stats suggest that he's actually not going that bad. I think defensively he's been okay. Just I don't think him, Ben Hunt, and Adam Reynolds are gelling as a trio. You know, there's three dominant players there.
Well, Reynolds kept them in the game. I mean, I don't care. Without Reynolds, I mean, seriously, like that. I don't know what happened with Honey. Honey had a bad night.
He did, and we've all had those. But I'm not sure why, again, they moved Ben Hunt to hooker.
Well, if you listen to the press conference...
I did, and he said he thought...
He wanted to freshen it up a bit and change things up a bit.
Well, I don't agree with that. Let's just say that. Right, and it didn't work.
Well, it didn't work because Hunt bobbles the kick. They could have actually won the game. They got to a position... at 18 all, where Reynolds ices that kick every day of the week. And for some unknown reason, Honey bobbled the ball and knocked on and didn't get it to Reynolds. Now, it wasn't that he lost him. I spoke to Ren about this. He said, "Oh no, it was just it was a mistake. You know, like he knew where he was. It was just an error."
I haven't spoken to. Well, Billy was over yesterday, but why did Reece Walsh take the kick off into the wind with a bung leg when he kicked it deep?
I never asked that question, but that's a valid question.
Doesn't Adam Reynolds kick off? He put one out on the full too, didn't he, Reynolds?
Yeah. But he also did a 40-20 that got him back into the game.
Yeah, I know, Reynolds, he is keeping the Broncos
that mistake from Walsh, with a bung, he's out 4 to 6 weeks.
Why
is he kicking?
60-mile-an-hour wind.
And it's gone dead.
So you could have pity for him because, like, normally you would expect when you kick off like that, well, you saw the start to the game. The Warriors put it up high and tried to get a contest. Yeah. You know, so I think it was pretty brave from Reece to try and kick it as long as he could. But that can happen sometimes when you roll the dice, and it's not really rolling the dice because the breeze, and I don't know, it wasn't there, but it was very strong. So it's unlikely that Reece, he would have thought, I've got to give this every little bit to get it as far down the field as I can so they don't get in an opportunity for a field goal in the opening set.
What about the balls on Metcalf to put his hand up straight away and take the kick? Like he'd kick 1 from 5. He'd kick like dog crap. Yeah. And then he gets the penalty and goes, give it here, and then slots it from 50. And it was going still. Yeah.
It was a great kick, and I commend him, for taking it. But he one of these kicks hit the post, didn't it?
Yeah.
That would have pushed them out that margin, which would have probably suffocated the Broncos. But because he hit the post, that kept the Broncos alive. I think it was 18-6.
Yeah, 18-6, and they should have been they should have been roughly 24-6.
Right. And I'm a very fair person, so I'm going to be fair to the Broncos. They got a couple of rough calls, and the Warriors, couple of tries. That try where the ball bounced and then Tuapiki, I think it was, kicked it. And then they scored. So that's pretty freakish. That's a bit unlucky there for the Broncos.
Sure.
But
the Nakora try wasn't freakish. And the poor pass from Hunt to Gemma Shibasaki and Capewell. Now, can I just formally, while we're talking about this, I'd like to formally apologise to Kurt Capewell. Kurt, I'm sorry I ever doubted you. I questioned you in the centres. I said you're from Charleville. I just want to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
Never better. I'm pleased you said that because you should never back against a Charleville man, mate.
No, I know.
Or woman.
Oh, yeah.
So quick wrap on the Broncos. Are they playing, and they're still in the game, are they playing well? No. Can they fix things? Yes, they can. Without Reece Walsh, it's going to make it.
What's Cobbo like at fullback?
He's very good. He's played a lot of fullback, through his junior days, and also played some games for the Broncos. And when he's gone back to fullback, he's been good, I will say. So
can I just crystal ball you here?
Yeah.
I'm going to see this makes you crystal. He goes to fullback, and he destroys over the next 4 weeks. Destroys them. You watch the clubs in the NRL. He's off contract. Everybody's seen him as a winger. If he plays well at fullback, the money that will come for him. He will not be at Brisbane next year if he plays well.
Well, I don't think he'll be at Brisbane anyway next year.
But I'm just telling you, this is an audition.
Well, I'm just going here and tell you that he'll be really good, sensational.
Is that right?
Yeah. If I know Cobbo.
Yeah.
Right?
What else needs to happen? Because, they get Brendan Piakura back.
Well, they've got to fix their defence, first and foremost, and Piakura will help that. They've had some instability around their edges, with
Jaden Hunt.
Gojeski broke his arm, so that's been disruptive. Jordan Ricky spent some time on the sideline, so from a defensive point of view, that's been clunky, and that's where some tries have been coming. So, yeah, look, it's only round 7. I don't think we need to beat the drums too much, but, there's enough
They got the Dogs and they got Penrith.
Well, that's a tough run, yeah, I get it, but the NRL's tough.
Then they go into Origin.
The NRL's
they
tough,
want to start
mate.
stacking their wins.
Every team this year has gone through a game or two where they're thinking, well, hang on a minute, this is not where we thought we'd be, Even the Storm getting rolled by the Dolphins up here, like that was unheard of, and the Storm got rolled by the Dragons as well, unheard of. So every team's facing its challenges, and the Broncos are no different to that, mate.
Okay. I'll talk about the Titans, then we'll look at the Roosters and the Panthers, but I'll just get these Queensland sides. 16-0 up against Canberra, 30 points to 20. Jamal Fogarty makes a difference. I can't for the life of me trust the Titans. I've tried. I've tried. You cannot get to a 16-0 lead after 16 minutes. They had a heap of injuries. Then they just get mowed down. It's just like, what happens? The minute anything goes on, they're in all sorts.
Yeah, well, the Raiders put the blowtorch on them, didn't they? Yeah. Hudson Young, he was outstanding.
Unbelievable.
A couple of tries. Just the way I'm not saying the tries, but just the way he carries himself on the field, he just brings a lot of confidence with him, from what I can see. And when he puts himself in the game, it's very explosive. Whether it's a tackle, a carry, a try, he just puts his stamp on the game pretty quickly. And he's tough. I think he'll play for New South Wales this year, certainly. We played for Australia last year. And
he played game one in New South Wales and then he's dropped.
But he's putting himself right in the picture, to play Origin. And the Raiders...
Laurie Daly's type of player. I mean, I know they've got a lot of edges there, but, I mean, you got to have Hudson Young in that side.
And Des was critical in his press conference, Des Hasler, of his side. Their failure their attention to detail and their errors were very costly. Turning over ball inside their half, silly penalties allowing, the Raiders to march downfield. So all those little things, very fixable for the Titans, but they need to be more consistent with their play, don't they? Like we've seen the best of them, and we've seen that wasn't so great from that second half. Again, injuries play their part as well. I'm not making excuses, but these are reasons. No Fafita, no Jaden Campbell. That's 2 big outs in any team.
Yeah.
Always hard to replace them with...
No Keanu Kinney. No,
there's the other one. So,
I know. So, I mean, they have lost.
That's the situation they're in. I went through it last year with the Broncos. If your best players aren't there regularly, it's always very, very hard.
They play the Cowboys this Saturday night. Cowboys had the bye.
How big a game is that going to be?
It's going to be big. Cowboys had the bye. That's in North Queensland as well. Righto. Ye who doubt the Panthers... make big mistakes. They are back. I don't care what anybody says. I saw enough, Kev.
Well,
you were excited for this game. And
I've got a bird's eye view of the game.
I will just say your commentary was outstanding. The most impressive thing was you calling the Roosters centre Bangs.
What's his name, Dobbo?
No, I'm not even going to. I get it wrong.
Nawonganitawase.
Nawonganitawase.
That's it.
You did it very well.
Yeah, well, I've been practicing it for 6 months. So
yeah, well, you did it well.
Yeah,
you did it well when you set that up. Talk to us about Penrith. What did you see?
Well, I just saw them just back to being Penrith, and that stadium is magnificent. Allianz Stadium in Sydney. For Sydney people, if you've got nothing to do on a Thursday, Friday or Saturday, and there's a game on at Allianz, get out there because it's absolutely amazing. The commentary box was right on halfway, magnificent view over the field, and you could just see the Penrith players syncing up in defence and attack. Now, it's back to the old Panthers where, when on kick returns, Edwards brings it back over the 30 on carry one, then their outside backs come in and do the rest, and then they kick from over halfway, Cleary into the corner, and then they chase, and they get their defence on. And the middle forwards do all their work. It's defence where they do their work, not carrying the ball out of their half, and that just grinds teams down.
Yeah,
and the Roosters were up for the fight, but they just strangled them. And it wasn't until about the 35th minute mark of that game, and Penrith scored might have been their second try, and the way they all synced up with Edwards and Yeo and Cleary was just amazing. It was just Penrith of old. So they're back. They are back.
Yeah, and I really like what the team's about. Can I ask you this?
And I questioned them, Dobbo. I really did question Penrith and where they were at, but they're certainly how far they can go. They'll give other teams a bit of a jump.
They're going to lose some players.
They've got to get through Origin, right? But that team is capable of doing whatever they want to this year. If they can find enough wins to get to the finals and they play that style of football, we know that style of football wins the big games.
Look out.
There you go.
West Tigers yesterday. This Lachlan Galvin issue is way bigger. I mean, we've now got the point.
Is there more? What's happened more over the weekend, hasn't it?
Yeah, like there's a legal letter's been given to the club.
Saying he's been bullied.
It all road leads to Benji just needs to, and this is me, I'm Benji, just let him go. Get him out of there. You've got Jerome Luai. He's drawn a line in the sand. Get Galvin out of there. He's going to Parramatta. That deal.
Is he going to Para?
He's going to Parramatta. Look.
Right.
Parramatta is where he's going to land. The Bulldogs are ruled out. Let's just move on.
Well, he's a Parramatta junior, isn't he?
I don't care. It's wrong how it's happened.
It's wrong how it's happened.
But
100% wrong.
I just feel Benji
and the Tigers need to move on from Lachlan Galvin.
Get him out of there.
Yeah.
Just cut your losses.
Well, I did get not so much told, or I read somewhere that Benji had decided that he was going to play this week, Galvin, and then the senior players came to him and said he can't play. Yeah. And he took the advice of his senior players. Now, senior players are a good sounding board for the coach, but they shouldn't be making the final decision on what happens.
Well,
and I'm sure
Benji's come out now and said, it was his decision, but we all know that the male was getting
it was his decision because at the end of the day, it's the head coach's decision, right? But I can understand why he came to the decision, trying to keep his senior players happy. Luai's been outstanding for him. Api Coruscant's been outstanding for him.
Yeah.
So you can understand why he listened to him.
They got schooled up yesterday, mate. They got schooled up yesterday. And the reason they got schooled up is because Mitchell Moses came back.
Yeah.
And what that halfback does, his kicking game, the shape,
the
way mate,
confidence, mate.
They were a better, mate, Parramatta.
They look like a top 8 team yesterday.
Didn't they what? And this is it. They'll go on a run now. Everybody's saying Rolsey, what a master coach. It's...
Yeah, well, hats off to Rolsey, and I was never one of he needs time. I said this, I think I was on Triple M, what's the Saturday scrum?
Yeah.
Some good reports back on that as well from everyone. Thanks for that.
Really? Guys. When were you doing that?
That was on Saturday.
Really?
Sydney. Yeah, I got a late call up.
Were you on the show the whole day?
Yeah. Nathan Hindmarsh is normally on the show, but he was on holidays.
So you came on?
And then Blocker was he's the backup, so I'm third off the bench. I'm pretty deep off the bench.
Collect the ticket though, Kev. You would have invoiced that one.
No, I haven't invoiced yet, but I will. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, that was good fun. Yeah, it was good fun. But so where was I going with that now?
You're talking about Rolsey.
Oh, Rolsey. Yeah. So look, he needs some time. He needs 4 years, mate, to get that roster into shape and go. And they need to back him. The board needs to back him. And it's easy to back people. Just get him behind them. What do you need? How do we help you? Right? Because obviously he's very confident with where he's at with that team. I could see that in his press conference after the game. And must have been so relieving for him to have Mitchell Moses back. He's played 6 weeks without him. That's Reynolds stopping back into the Broncos.
Yeah, and it makes a difference. It just makes a difference,
mate.
Moses didn't even kick for goal. It made a massive difference. Well done to him. This West Tigers thing's going to brew, and obviously we'll talk about it a bit more. Can I just quickly touch on the Knights? The worst attacking record in the whole comp.
Yeah, I can't believe that they can't score points. Kalen Ponga at the back. Fletcher, what's his name? Fletcher Sharp.
Mate, they've got some dramas. They've got some dramas.
But they've got some injuries too, Dobbo. It's middle forwards.
Kevie, everybody's got injuries.
I know that, but that hurts, mate. The injuries hurt. I'm not making excuses. They're reasons. Are they playing well? No, they're playing terrible.
Okay.
They weren't even in the game yesterday.
Who's your hot, who's your not? Over the weekend, who do you like?
The Bulldogs are hot.
Yep.
And you just said it there, the Knights, they're not. Mate. Yeah. That's the two,
what about these Raiders?
The Broncos have got some work to do as well.
What about the Raiders? I mean, I can't trust a single team other than the Bulldogs and the Raiders at the moment. And I'm telling you now, the Raiders, I've told you this, I think I told you this stat last week. Darwin, Vegas, Townsville, Gold Coast, and Sydney. They've had 2 home games in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? They are at 5-2. They take on the Dolphins on Sunday. Then Melbourne on Magic Round. Then they've got to go to New Zealand. Like, you want to talk about, they have had a wretched run.
Right.
Now, I think they're a smoky.
Yeah, they're no smokies anymore. They've shown enough in the opening 7 weeks that he's got a team there. If they can all stay fit. Their middle forwards are as good as any. They took it to the Broncos, didn't they, in round 2?
Mate.
Their middle forwards, or round 3, whatever that was. And they're taking it to teams, so they can, certainly. And they got points in unorthodox points as well. So, yeah, I like the Raiders. I think they're cruising. Manly have had a pretty... Anthony Seibold's he's pretty upset with their start to the season, obviously, but also their time. And they've had 5 games in 25 days.
Stop.
So
stop.
They've been on the road
Stop
too.
with Siebes, mate. Seriously. I'm not even going to go.
Well, I'm just telling you the facts, mate.
He will do anything to spin a narrative that's negative. No. We're not talking. It's an Anthony free zone today. I'm not going through that. I'm not going down that road.
We'll leave it there.
Okay.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, winger of the week. Can I tell you?
Is Jack back?
He's back. Jack, we're sorry you've got it again, mate. You were very, very good on Friday night till the last minute, mate, where you couldn't help yourself. You know, did you see earlier? He dived on the ball, goal line, drop out. It comes to the very end of the night. It comes to the very, very end. Kane Bradley goes up for it. It's 42 points to 16. Had a nice ring to it. What do, Jack? Do you contest the ball? No, mate, you don't. You try to go for the big hail almighty and bash it out of his hands. He scores.
Yeah, I mean,
and Jack, we love you. Keep your shirt on. You've copped the winger of the week 2 weeks in a row. You are going to get it the way you're going at the moment. It was a brain snap. And your players gave you a bit of a spray for it as well.
Did they?
Oh, they saw it. He didn't contest for it. He just went to whack.
He's playing AFL.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jack. Hate to do it.
We do apologise,
We do apologise, Jack, but you got winger of the week again. Now, listen, I'm going to get to Kev's cooking tips very shortly.
And we also got to we didn't go so well with the punting tips either,
No, punting was horrific.
Yeah.
I was going to leave that because I was worried that maybe...
Did we even get one leg up?
No,
yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. No, not one.
Huh?
No, go through what you said.
Yeah, I did.
Read it out. Well, let's do Kev's punting tips because this is your...
No, it's not Kev's. This is the mystery person.
the mystery person.
Remember?
Sorry.
Right, we had the Hammer to score. Boom.
Yeah, didn't get a try.
How did he not score? Jesse Arthurs to score.
Yes.
Yes, there you go. And we had the Broncos to win too, didn't we?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
No good.
1 out of 3.
And then we had Jaden Campbell to score. Well, he didn't even play. And the Titans.
So that was. I think he had Stags to score.
Katoni Stags, that's right. Yeah, Katoni. Yeah. Well, he try assist. Does that count?
No.
Right.
Mate, we had
back to the drawing board. Short week this week too. I better.
Yeah, mate. Can you just talk to your man and just really work hard?
I'm going to work hard on this week.
Kev's cooking is a big segment, and obviously the last week he didn't get there because he was with me, and we called the Sunday night game. He had Easter Monday to prepare a Gauday Armis for the family. Kev, what was on?
Oh, we had the roast, mate. The lamb roast. Beautiful.
Lamb roast on Easter Monday.
Easter Monday, yeah. Narelle, my wife, wasn't very happy. She thought, it's a bit plain for it. But everyone has roast.
Really weird call to go with a lamb roast on a Monday.
Well,
but anyway,
when you got to feed 10 people and 3 grandkids, the grandkids loved it, mate.
Yeah, what about
Pop's gravy? It's the best you've ever seen.
What? Give us a little.
I better cut that out. Actually, Pop's gravy. That could probably.
No, that's good, mate. That's good. Billy's is where you bought the. Did you buy it from Billy's or you went rogue this time?
No, we just went outside of Billy's.
Right, you've got another little lamb operator.
Yeah,
a little lamb supply. Okay, give us the secret on the lamb, mate. How do you cook it?
Oh well, actually, I've got some help with this one.
Yeah,
rosemary.
Yes,
lots of rosemary and garlic.
Yes.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah, the oven.
Into the oven. Slow cook, mate. Beautiful. And my roast veggies, everything roast. Roast veggies, pumpkin, sweet potato.
I hate roasts. So you're not. This does not do me. Like I hate roasts.
Why do you hate roast? Because there's, why? There's work in it. There's preparation in it. You don't like work, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 8 years of boarding school might have something to do with it as well.
This was 4 hours of prep we're talking here.
Yeah, well, that's good.
For the Sunday roast.
Yeah, who ate the most?
Everyone. There's nothing left. It's
Harry?
all gone. Harry gets into it.
Yeah.
Billy loves it. Yeah, Ava. Everyone loves
now,
roast.
Just a quick injury update. Your daughter had an operation last week. How is she?
Yeah, she's fine. She got the plate in, so they put and 7 screws. So she'll be out of action for about 8 weeks, poor Ava.
NRLW season out this year?
Well...
Or she'll come back for the BRL?
She'll come back for the BRL, yeah.
Yeah, righto.
The
Watch
BMD,
this space.
is it
BMD Women's Championship. We'll like that as well. Now, listen, we've got... It's obviously Anzac Day at the end of the week on Friday. So we've got a pretty special guest tomorrow.
Very special.
He obviously played, but if ever you want to know why somebody is like they are and why they're aggressive, you will get that answer with our guest. Great bloke, little bit left of centre, but worth listening to. And we've got to say to everybody that listens, please share our podcast. That's the big thing. Just to one friend. I gave it to another friend on the weekend, but he loved it. I said, no dramas. If you can just share it with one friend. And all our questions, we'd love you to, if any time you've got something, I did see that somebody used the Hoppy Car Wash and said they listened to Inside Ball. I see that. That was right.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody who utilised the Hoppy's Car Wash over the weekend. That many of you went there. Guess what? We're not doing that, but watch this space. We've got another one for you, another little deal coming up in the next couple of episodes for you. But thank you to everybody that went to Hoppy's Car Wash. Thank you to Hoppy's. Johnsy, appreciate you, mate. Thank you. And to Heels, thank you so much.
There was a little bit of trouble early with the transactions, but we got there in the end. So
yeah, of course. Anyway, if you
thanks to Hoppies.
Yeah, good on you.
You beauty.
Blind Freddie could have seen that happening. Anyway, we will be back on Thursday with our preview. Our special guest drops tomorrow. Please take a listen. InsideBall.podcast. Go to our Instagram, give us a follow. Share it with a friend. We'll see you next time.